$21 bills just sit right in my cup holder. And now every time that I see a homeless person, I gladly, I get excited when I see him. Like, oh yeah, homeless person. Because I get my dollar, I roll out the window, and I go, here you go. And I say, money is love.
What's up guys, King Majestic here, and today I have a phenomenal guest that we're going to be showing. He has spoken at some of the largest consciousness expositions. He's spoken in front of Fortune 500 companies, multiple Fortune 500 companies, and very, very prestigious casinos like MGM Grand. And today, without further ado, we have Mr. Kurtis Thomas here with us.
What's up, brother?
Hi, what's up, man? How you doing?
Amazing.
When I first met you, I saw you do breathwork, right? And the way that you maneuvered through the crowd, and you really got us through that experience, and just let us know that everything was going to be okay, and just helped us get out of an out-of-body experience, right? It really was powerful, and I just had to come up to you and just to say, like, hey, I think that you could add value to other people. My first question is what got you into breathwork?
Pain.
Pain. Okay.
Pain.
That was very direct. Okay.
Because I decided, that was my answer because I have a nice fluffy answer. But at the end of the day, the two greatest motivators in the world are pain and pleasure.
Yes.
Right. So the pain hurts, and it allows us to initiate a journey. Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of my journey was pain. Breathwork specifically was I had every breathing condition you can imagine. Asthma, anxiety, panic attacks.
Oh, I feel that.
And to paint the picture of how bad it was. At one point, I had a lot of crazy things going on in my life. You ever hear of Murphy's Law?
Murphy's Law, no, I'm not.
So it's like when things get bad and things get more bad and they just can't get any more bad, then they get more bad. It was like one of those times in my life where, lost my job, lost my brother, my house burned down. It was crazy. I started having panic attacks. So to paint the picture, they were so bad I had to move in my mom's basement, and I had a bell that was beside my bed in the basement, and it was there so when I was having a panic attack, I could grab the bell and ring the bell so my mom could hear it and come downstairs and comfort me because I couldn't scream for her to come get me because I couldn't breathe. That's how bad the panic attacks were. Wow. So, and then I had sleep apnea. They cut out my uvula. So I went through all that stuff, and then I had stomach issues. And the stomach issue, I went to every doctor you can imagine. And they tested me for everything. Blood, urine, they did a colonoscopy, endoscopy, I swallowed 2 pill cameras.
Dang, anything impossible, right?
Yeah, I wanted to know. I thought I had cancer, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. And it's so frustrating to know that you're in pain and nobody can diagnose you.
Yeah.
And there was literally a point, I remember there was a point where I was like, I wish the doctors would come and say, Kurtis, you got this. Or you got cancer. I'd be like, all right, shit, now I know I gotta drink green juices or whatever. So I started treating myself as if I was like a cancer patient. Like I was doing like ozone therapy, I was doing combo, I was doing ayahuasca, I was doing fasting for 21 days, doing all that stuff. And then I kept going to the doctors, and one doctor, I was like, no, test me again. And he straight up was like, Kurtis, he's like, to be honest, he goes, you're healthier than I am. He's like, there's nothing we can do for you. And then one lady, she told me, hey, you should try breathwork. And like in my head, I'm like, I breathe, man. I know how to breathe. I did the pranayama, the belly breathing. I did that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, you should try this, like, da-da-da. And I just valued her opinion. So I was like, you know what, I got nothing to lose.
Might as well give it a shot and see how it goes.
I did it, changed my life. Never been the same. In fact, interesting thing is that the stomach issue that I had, the pain, it went away instantly, like that.
That's really fascinating. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that?
Why?
Oh, okay. Well, why do you know that there are so many benefits with breathwork?
Two different questions.
Okay.
So there's a lot of benefits, but I'll tell you what happened because okay. Doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me because it wasn't physical.
Okay.
It was emotional, and it was energetic.
Really? Would you mind elaborating more on that?
Emotional issues. We store all of our emotions. Like this, your stomach is your. It's like it's like a battery. It has like pluses and negatives, and this is like your bio battery. This is all your chi, your prana, all your life force energy. It's stored here, in your gut. This is your power center, right? 80% of your serotonin, stuff that put you in a good mood, is produced in your gut.
Really?
80% of your immune system, keeps you healthy, is produced in your gut. 72,000 of your nadis, right, throughout your system, they all run through your gut. Your nadis are, it's like the prana, they're like all the channels. So you have this prana, this chi, this kundalini that people talk about, right? And that energy needs to travel. It doesn't travel through your veins, right? Or it travels through these tiny channels in your body, 72,000 of them, to your toes to the top of your head, called nadis. And they all stem here.
In the stomach.
In the stomach. So this is the power center. This is your main chi. And Tai Chi, Qigong, they call this the windpipe. So this is where your energy, new energy comes in and old energy leaves out. Well, if this is blocked by emotional or something energetic, which is really emotions, if that's blocked, then energy can't leave, so that means new energy can't come in. That means you got stagnant chi. And when you have stagnant chi in your stomach, in Chinese medicine, it messes up your spleen chakra. So then that means now your, I believe it's peristalsis, that wave in your small intestine that sends the food. Like you eat the food, well, how does it go from here all the way down out you? So it's like an electric shock, like a wave in your small intestine that pushes the food. It's like literally pushes the food. It's like this wave that slows down. So now your entire digestive system slows down, and now it's just like all these events that just trigger just through and a blockage in your stomach. So this is why they call it the second brain. There's intelligence in here, right? They say trust your gut feeling, right?
Yeah.
They don't say trust your elbow feeling, trust your cheek feeling.
Yeah.
What do they say?
Trust your gut feeling.
Yeah. Why is that? There's intelligence in the gut.
This is the first time I've heard of that. That's interesting. I didn't know about that actually.
Yeah.
But that does make a lot more sense. And intuition. So does that mean the intuition also comes from your gut as well, or that's basically all it is? It's all one thing, right?
So it's your nadis, the prana, it's the chi. That's your life force energy. It all stems here. That's why I say trust your gut. Right? So trust your gut. That's your prana, that's your pri. It's like the brain and the stomach are connected. So if somebody gets a brain injury. So you ask doctors, when they get a brain injury, within 3 hours they'll have leaky gut syndrome because it's connected. So you got brain fog, you can't do that, you got to clean your gut. You start cleaning out your gut, you do a colon, boom, you got clarity. So that's what the breath work, it cleans out the gut by cleaning out all your prana, your energy centers, all your nadis, it starts flushing them. Okay. That's why people get emotional. People cry.
I seen that at the performance. At the training, I guess you'd say.
I like how you said performance, so that's a good compliment.
Yes, because the way your showmanship is really on point. Like you know how to make people laugh. Like I took it and I used to be a magician, as I mentioned, right? Yeah. And so like you just have a great way of presenting everything. But okay, that makes sense. So because I do remember a lot of people that they were crying. I know that when I did it, my fingers got very, very numb, and it started almost cramping up. And honestly, if you did not warn us of that, I would have been like highly freaking out. Yes, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm dying, or something like that. With that, something that I did know. Okay, actually, and what are the different benefits to breathwork?
Have you ever seen the Chris Rock special back in the day where he talks about Robitussin?
Robitussin, no, but
put some tussin on it. Alright,
that's
what it's like for breathwork.
Okay.
So breathwork, it can literally work for everything that you're going through, because the breathwork was working on your prana, your chi, right? And what is that? That is your life force energy.
Okay.
And when things get clogged up in that system, right, the breath work clears it out. So it starts clearing out old emotions. And if you think about it, like, I always wonder, other people do too, how could somebody like Steve Jobs, who has all the money and the resources in the world, die of cancer? With all the technology out, with his as much connection to tech, how does he allow himself to die? Right? So it's like, I don't care how much money you have, I don't care how many green juices you drink. If you have suppressed trauma or unexpressed emotions, right? And you're carrying around emotional baggage of guilt, shame, fear, anger, regret, any of that stuff, it's a death wish. That's how we suppress the emotions, and then that stuff starts clogging things up. Then we get inflammation, you know, and then we got this, and then next thing you know, you grew cancer. You know, Woody Harrelson says, "I don't get mad, I grow a tumor."
When you're doing a breathwork event, right?
Yeah.
What is some of the most insane reaction that you get from people that do breathwork? Because I know that it has a high intensity. Like, has anybody ever been hurt by doing breathwork? Is it something that people should, you know, like ever like fear doing? Is there any type of downsides? You know, would you mind maybe elaborating more on those?
Yeah, man, if people got hurt by breathing, we'd be in some trouble, right?
Yeah.
It's like the one thing you can't get hurt by. It's like, it's natural. It's not substance. This isn't a drug. You can't overdose on it, right? It's like, you know, the craziest thing is if you're going so hard, right? People always ask, like, you know, will I pass out? And I say, you know, you might feel like you're gonna pass out. I go, but you're not. And even if you did, you're already on the floor, so it doesn't matter.
So you're already halfway there. It's okay.
Yeah, they're on the mat. So, but I've seen it all, man.
Yeah.
I can't say I've seen it all because I keep getting surprised.
Really?
But I'll give you an example of one that you were at.
Okay.
There was a girl there, and I went over to her, and she was working through something, and then, you know, I put her in, and as I do it, the more and more I get intuitive of what that person's going through, and I can sometimes just being there, just energetically and holding that space, you allow them to go through a process what they're going through. Sometimes I can pick up on what's happening, and then I'll say something. And then when I say something, you know, that sound vibration will resonate with them. They just needed to hear that at that right time, and that unloads this big landslide of clearing and healing. But the one you were at, there was this girl, and I just knew the issue, and I knew what to say. And I said a couple of things to her, and she just cracked open. And as she's crying, I could hear a little baby crying. Like literally like an infant cry, from a grown woman. Yeah, I heard an infant cry, and she was just crying like an infant would. And then afterwards, she's like, I gotta talk to you, da, da, da. And then she told me when she was a baby, she was abandoned, and then she had to get adopted. And then that parent was abusive. So when she was releasing from when she was a baby. She didn't remember that, but when she was crying, it was that trauma, that from 30 years ago, however old she was. So
I noticed it because the other night I did breath work for maybe about set my timer up for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I noticed the time went different. I noticed that I had set it for 15 minutes, and when I had thought was more than 15 minutes, I had only maybe done 5, maybe 10 minutes worth of breath work. And I noticed after that 5-minute mark, things got very intense, right? It almost like felt like a pressure within my stomach. It felt a pressure within my whole body. It felt almost like a blanket, like a cool blanket going over my body and over my face. And it felt very intense. Very almost like part of me really, really wanted it to stop because of like how much like tension that there was, right? Does that ever go away? Or is that something that you ever get used to? Or am I maybe the only one that maybe feels like that? Is that normal? Or
you gotta feel it to heal it.
Okay.
You want tension in your body, or you want it out of your body?
Out of my body, for sure.
You gotta feel it to heal it.
Okay.
So what's coming up is something that's in you. You have tension that is living inside of you. And the reason why you do the breathwork is to get it out. That's why I call it the breathwork detox. So when you're feeling tension come up, That's when you got to breathe through and push through. Because in order to have a breakthrough, you got to break through.
Yeah. Oh, dang. Oh. I know. I'm just like,
Yeah. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And the first 11 minutes of breathwork is the toughest. Because that's when all your programming comes up. Because what happens is when the brain's job is to keep you safe. Mm-hmm. And by keeping you safe, it has to keep you in your comfort zone. And when your brain can't scare the shit out of you and stop you from doing something, and it knows you're going to do it anyway, it's like, oh shit, he's going to do breathwork. Okay, plan B. And it only has plan B. Plan B is, can't scare you, it distracts you. So now it has all these things coming up trying to distract you to stop you. Okay. Your brain wants to stop you. It doesn't like breathwork. Yeah. Until you get past the 11-minute mark, then something cool happens called transient hypofrontality. And that's when the prefrontal cortex in the brain shuts down. So the prefrontal cortex is the executive decision maker. It says, okay, this is good, this is bad. You know, you're you, I'm me. Right? When that shuts down, then you that veil kind of lifts, and now you open into the space of oneness, right? Connection, unconditional love, creativity. It's actually called the flow state.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's flow hacking. So, like Stephen Kotler's company, he does. He's really big into flow hacking, and they just talk about breath work. You know, that they're talking about breath work right now is like the new flow hack, because that's how you get in the flow. But what they say about getting into flow is that you're gonna experience some struggles. Mm-hmm. You know, usually within the first like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, breath work is right around like 10 minutes, something like that. Sometimes sooner, just depends. And then when you get past that, all that, the mind frick, right? You get past all that stuff, then all of a sudden it's like, pop! It's like you just break through, and then now it's just euphoria. That's why people feel so good at the breath work. They're like, oh my god, I feel amazing. And some people feel great for days.
Really?
Days, yeah.
That's really interesting. And so basically, I basically cut myself off right when I was about to like feel it then, right? Because I probably stopped around that 10-minute mark because I thought that like, okay, like I think this is good enough. Like I think I'm good. So I should have kept on going. And that I have to go through that trauma, that struggle, that internal tension that is going in. Now, eventually when that comes out, and let's say that I do breath work again, maybe the next day, does that initial tension that I feel, is that no longer there, or will I keep on refilling it each and every single time? Every time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's part of flow state. To get into flow state, you have to get a little bit of a struggle, because you're getting past the mind. I mean, until you become enlightened. Yeah. You know, and you don't have any of this negative self-talk. You know, you completely mastered your emotions. Mm-hmm. You mastered life. If you plan on getting to that space soon, then no, you won't have to deal with that. But to really get into breath work, and you know, you're gonna have resistance in the beginning. Okay. But after that, you know, that 10-minute mark, it's like it goes from struggle to automatic mode. I mean, it's so worth it. There's no better feeling.
That's good.
Doing breath work and getting to that space. I mean, there's nothing you can, unless you're digesting something or smoking some, you ain't gonna get there. Okay. Not like that.
Okay. Yeah. And so that way our audience can kind of have an idea of what we're really talking about and really experiencing it themselves. Is there maybe a mini exercise that they could try at home, or something that we could do so that way they have a general idea of what they could do on their own to get started on breathwork?
It depends. The breathwork that you did, that's not really something I can show them. Okay. Because it's like you asked what it is. Like I don't. Like it's an event. Like it's an experience. And I'd say the main reason why, like I've had people come and say, oh my god, I did breath work with this person and like this big person, all these big names, but yours was so much better for me, and this and that, and I didn't know. I don't know why, right? And then, but I realized the difference is that it's not in the content, which is the breath work. It's in the context. So I spend a good 20 minutes, right, explaining to people. They need to know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. If you just did that and I didn't tell you everything that was going to happen, I'd be freaking out. You said at the beginning, I'm going to freak out. So my responsibility is to not, but I do have one that I can give that has been a game changer for me.
Okay.
Because there's a couple different ones, the alternate nostril breathing. But the one is the easiest, and I think the most effective, is when we go in through the nose. So ready? And go. Yeah, don't hold anything back. Just go. Right? So you want to breathe it right in the belly. So in the nose, yeah, right there, and let it fall out. Right? Don't push it out too much.
Okay.
Right? Get the sage in my
I
mouth.
know.
Like, why I eat that on my rug.
Sorry.
So watch me. Ready? Should we go?
Okay.
Yeah. See that? And when you release something else with it.
Release something else with it, like
something you're holding on to. You're holding on to something now. Let it go. Right? So watch. That was a good one.
And do you think about like an intention of that you're releasing basically while you're doing that?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be specific. You just say, okay, I'm releasing something that's no longer in my highest and greatest good. It'd be vague like that.
Huh.
You don't even need to do that. You just and all of a sudden the prana, the chi starts moving and flowing and breaking up blocks and energy blockages and stuff like that. That's the game changer. That's like the most effective thing that you guys do at home. I do it in my car. I don't know if I should recommend people to do breathwork in their car, but that just it's a sigh. That's all it is. It's a sigh. A sigh is good. A sigh is amazing. It's it prevents you from reacting. So instead of reacting, the opposite, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just you do the opposite. You go, release. Don't bring it in. You don't want stress, anxiety in. You want stress, anxiety out.
Is there like a certain pattern you do with it, or is there like a time frame that you try to do this with, like maybe 5 minutes, or
try to do it 20 times a day?
20 times a day. Okay, like throughout the day, not necessarily within.
Just do 3 sets of 3. So when you do one, you can go actually in through the mouth. Into the mouth is good too. So I just like doing the nose. You go, just as effective. I like going in through the nose because you bring the prana and chi to the brain.
Okay.
As you go, and then,
And when you normally breathe, do you have like a certain way that you normally breathe or does it matter, I guess, when you're just normally just interacting with
always in through the nose.
In through the nose? Okay.
Always in through the nose, even out through the nose, normal breathing. Because it keeps you in your parasympathetic, right, which is your rest and digest. So when you see boxers, right, boxers breathe out of their nose. Runners, they breathe out of their nose, right? When you see a boxer's mouth open, they're tired, they're fatigued. And if you this is the simplest way I can explain of like when do you breathe in through the nose? When do you breathe out through the mouth? Right? That pisses me off. Like yoga, it's like into the mouth, out through the mouth. You don't know. It's always different, right? So the simple way is that you breathe in through the nose, right? And that keeps a closed circuit, right? And that keeps energy in the body. When you breathe out through the mouth, you're releasing energy from the body. Think about the doorway. This is a big doorway compared to this, right?
Yeah.
So when you breathe, when you sigh, you're
letting everything in
negative energy out. Right? So you're releasing energy out. This is the mouth. So if you're boxing or running, you start going, all your chi, your prana, your energy, you're getting it out. You need that to run the race. You need that the box. You've never seen Floyd Mayweather's mouth open in boxing. You see his opponents, but Floyd, his mouth is always closed. That's why his stamina is on point. Keeps his chi, keeps his energy regulated, masters his energy.
That's interesting. I've never even heard about stuff like that. I'm gonna pay more attention.
Conor McGregor too. You watch him. He's really poised. But against the other dude, he got worked. And when they start breathing out their mouth, they're letting their energy go. They're
need for the power.
Yeah. So keep your mouth shut. Mm-hmm. Breathe in through your nose if you want to conserve your energy.
Okay.
And if you want to get rid of energy, you breathe out through the mouth. That's the simplest way.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I definitely did want to get into your book as well, right? And so now this man is phenomenal, amazing when it comes to being able to interpret spiritual concepts into more easier to understand I guess you could call them almost like formulas or more like easy like ways to just display it and just have people understand it, right? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, if you guys could check out, I'm gonna leave in the link down below. I'm gonna have his book in, and it is called "The World Is Yours: The Awakening." Okay, and it is phenomenal. One thing that he did mention is that people tell themselves a certain script, and you say that you need to flip your script in order to change your life, right? To get what you want, right? What is the most destructive script that people tell themselves, and what is the most empowering script that people tend to tell themselves with?
It's usually the same script. I'm not enough, I can't do this, who's gonna listen to me, right? Nobody wants me. It's those same negative one-liners, right? And very simple, it's like whatever the opposite of that is, right? It needs to be the affirmation, not even like you have to believe it to literally disrupt the program. Right? Okay. It's a program in the brain. It's a script, right? So it's the negative one-liners. Those are the ones that slip right in. They're usually only one line, and that's the virus. So we need to counter those, right? So I'm actually in the process right now of developing an actual technique that I've been using for myself. Okay. And it's going to be launching soon. Maybe I'll kind of pre-promote it. It's about 6 months out from launching, but I think it's going to change the world. Really? And so it's called self-talk therapy.
Self-talk therapy, okay.
Yeah.
And
teaches you how to talk to yourself. And I'm not talking affirmations. I'm talking based upon a whole principle of having your real self and then having your false self, your alter ego, and how to separate those two. So you can see the illusion of who you're really not, which is it's that aspect of yourself that has all these negative things to say. And when you realize it's not you, and you can peel yourself away from it, then you're able to distance itself. And once you can distance yourself, then when you hear that, it's like that's not you. Yeah. And that's what you need to get at, because when it says these things and you think it's you, well, that's when your emotions get attached. And the more you detach from that aspect of yourself, your false identity, really what it is, and then it's just like someone else saying shit, right? It's just like, it's not you. And that's when you start to get, you get into that space where it's like, you really want to get to the space. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about you. You know who you are. But the reason why people can't really own that
is because they identify with that.
Like, fuck, he's right. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, yeah, I ain't shit. And that's why they're scared of the world. Until you get rid of that, you start to separate yourself, and then people can say, like, I know who I am. You know what I mean? That's the space that we want to get to. So this self-talk therapy, which I was shocked that nobody was actually doing this.
Yeah, it's not a concept that I've actually heard about before, actually, until you brought it up.
It sounds simple, right?
It's very, very simple, but it's great, to be able to basically distance yourself from it, so that way you can just, know that you are yourself. And you can almost make this person out to be almost like a bully, and just realize that that's not good, and I like it. That's a really great concept.
It's effective. It's really effective, and you actually have conversations with this false aspect of yourself as part of it, like legit conversations, and you actually you advocate and you speak for it. And when you start to do that, it allows you to go from your perspective to their perspective. Your perspective to their perspective. And the more you do that, the more you create separation. So right now it's a stick in the ground, right? It's one. You can't budge, you can't move it. But when you start going in your perspective, right? And then you go to their perspective and you get that stick in the ground, you start wiggling it, guess what happens? It gets loose. And then you can pull the stick out, and that's when enlightenment happens. So this is the formula that I've been working with on how to get people there.
I am very excited to see this. I'm very, very curious about this.
No, man, I'm telling you, I think this is it.
Of course, I'm not gonna ask you to go any further on that one because I'm gonna let them like wait for your product, and like I'm definitely gonna be leaving your information down in the description. Yeah. But that is really great, and I actually really want to learn as much about that. So as soon as you like get that out, I would love it if you could just send that my way. Yes. No, that's phenomenal, and especially for somebody like myself, I personally have struggled with a lot of self hate, I guess you could better say, or almost like not self-appreciation, and as we previously discussed earlier, right? So I definitely think that for people that struggle with that, you can very much help. And a lot of the times the reason that we hurt other people, and a lot of the times the reason that we feel like we almost are bitter, is because we have all of this stuck in us and we identify with it. We think it is us. Mm-hmm. But what you're saying is that no, like it's not you. That is a trickster. That is somebody that is fooling you into thinking that you are, but you're not. And that is just genius, honestly. And so thank you.
Got it, bro.
So the other thing that you talked about in your book was a law of rhythm. And I heard this, and the law of rhythm, would you mind, first of all, just to give a basis to the viewers, mind describing the basic idea of it?
Okay. So was that, out of all the laws in there, was that the one that stood out to you the most?
One of them, yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. So most people know the law of attraction.
Yes.
Right? That's the one that I feel is like the most popular.
Definitely.
And then also, I think just as equally as important is the law of vibration, right? Mm-hmm. So everything in the world is vibration, right? So it's like if you want something in the universe, it's like you have to vibrate at that frequency in order to attract it, because like attracts like. Yes. And the universe is a giant mirror, right? So if you smile at a mirror, what's it gonna do? Smile. Right?
Yeah.
You frown at a mirror, what's it gonna do?
It's definitely gonna frown.
And the universe is no different. So the best way to get $1 million is to believe that you already have $1 million.
Okay.
And that is the number one thing you can do. And I remember when I was taking these like business classes and whatever, they were saying, is it good to get a hotel at the Holiday Inn for 5 days or to stay at the Ritz-Carlton for one night? And they said stay at the Ritz-Carlton for one night, because having the feeling that you're rich.
Yes.
Right? Having the feeling that you're abundant, living like a king, and having that feeling, that will bring more abundance. But feeling like you got a penny pinch, and you got a this, and I'm staying here because it's all I can afford, and that is, something that I did recently that changed for me is that there's a lot of homeless people in LA. Okay. So I'd be driving, and when I drive, homeless people would come up, right? And I mean, I carry cards. I really carry cash on me. Mm-hmm. So the homeless people would come up, and then it's like, I got my window rolled up, or I see them, and I'm like, this, or I'm out of cash, like, I got my cards or whatever it is. And then I realized that every time that I did that, I felt poverty. This person who has nothing, right, and I'm over here driving a Lexus, and I'm saying I can't help this guy. I can't help this lady. I pull up to the stop sign and I'm seeing a lady with a sign saying I need to feed my kids. Doesn't matter if that's the truth or it's not the truth. Doesn't matter if they're going to use it for drugs or buy alcohol. That doesn't matter. It's all feeling. So I'm feeling like I can't help these people out. And that feeling is actually creating poverty in myself.
Wow, I never even thought about it.
So now what I do is I got stacks of ones. It kind of feels good. When I was a kid, I used to get the ones and put the 20 on top like this. I'm getting all the ones, and now I put them in my car. $21 bills just sit right in my cup holder. And now every time that I see a homeless person, I gladly, I get excited when I see him. Like, oh yeah, homeless person. Because I get my dollar, I roll down the window, and I go, here you go. And I say, money is love. And that's actually an excellent book you should read called Money is Love. It's a game changer. And I give it to him. And when I give it to him, I feel amazing. It's a totally different, fucking $1.
Yeah.
It's $1, right? It's $1. Even if you did it twice a day, you spent $60 a month. That $60 a month of having 60 times you felt abundant that you could help somebody, that money's going to come back 10, 20-fold. And you have to get to that mindset.
Dang, that is, oh my gosh, that just hits home like, oh my God. I definitely feel like I gotta incorporate that because I didn't realize how that that small little thing could really hinder you and kind of like make you feel trapped and like make you feel like, you know, in this state of almost of I guess you could say almost neediness because you don't feel like you have enough that you know gets, you know, kind of shy when somebody comes up and asks you for money and stuff. I never even thought about that. That's I like that.
It's a big difference. And you notice when they come to you like, sorry, it's like it don't feel good. Mm-hmm. But when someone comes up and asks you for something, whether you have it and you don't want to give it, right? Mm-hmm. Or you actually don't have it, both of them suck. Yeah. One, you don't have $1 in your pocket? Really? Or you got $100 and you can't give $1? Yeah. Forget about what's right or wrong. That feeling is catastrophic to the vibration that you need to attract abundance. So another thing is, because it's all about feeling, you know, if you see a penny on the ground, right? Probably walk over it, right? And if we walked and we seen a dime or a nickel or whatever, I see that, I grab down, I pick it up, I kiss it, and I say to the universe, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am a money magnet. Because the universe doesn't understand the denomination. When it sees money, it doesn't say, oh, it's a penny. Oh, the universe is like, oh, it's just a quarter. The universe knows that's currency, that's money. And when it sees that we find it and sees how much we value it and see how much it gets us excited. It's going to attract more. It's going to attract more.
Oh, shoot. I love it.
Yeah, so it's all about the feeling. It's all about the vibration. Why for you is the law of rhythm your favorite?
Because it's, oddly enough, I didn't know about this law until I listened to the audiobook. However, I had almost, I guess you could say, fear without even knowing about it. Yeah. Because about 2 years ago, I had one of the most depressing years of my life. Yeah. And I had, just like yourself, you know, I've experienced, you know, death in the family. I experienced everything wrong that I could go wrong. Like, it was almost like to, like, a funny extent, right? Yeah. You know, like, I was always struggling every month to figure out how I was going to make rent. And I was, no matter how much I tried, I could never catch up, you know, so on and so forth. It was an insane year. Yeah. Definitely depressing. The next year, I decided this year is going to be different. I'm going to make this a great year, and that's basically last year, right? And it was amazing. Literally anything that could go right went right. Yeah. Like, I could do no harm. Yeah. Like, I could do no wrong. Like, it was everything was great, you know? And I would always get lucky with it, just different prizes, different things I would find, different people would just give me stuff. Like, it was just really insane. So I started, like, when it got closer to the end of this previous year, I was just, like, I started getting in my head, and I started worrying. I was like, oh my gosh, like last year, like, you know, it was so hectic, but then this year it happened so great. Like, I'm just worried that, like, eventually it's gonna come back to me. Like, it's almost gonna, like, equalize itself because, you know, like, I had such a great year. I'm wondering, like, I'm kind of scared. I kind of hope that it's not gonna be a really horrible year. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of like when I heard this, I was like, oh shoot, this is a lot. Oh, okay, I'm gonna be experiencing some type of struggle probably coming up soon. Yeah. Is what I got very fearful. And then I know that you mentioned briefly, like, when I first heard this, I was very fearful to experience great bliss and happiness, but you didn't elaborate too much on that, so I just kind of wanted to just get your mind on that, on what you mean.
Well, I made a point to say that I got nervous too, but the whole point is that we're meant to be happy. That is our normal state. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, you know, the neutral point isn't where we're lifeless. Like, that's not neutral. Okay. In the universe, it's actually, we're meant to feel joy. We're meant to feel happy. That's the neutral point. That is how we're supposed to feel. Then you have, you know, the higher end of the spectrum. It's just like, you know, ecstatic and ecstasy, you know, and euphoria and nirvana. Those are the big peak states. But happiness and content, that gentle feeling of you know, just peace, that's what we're supposed to feel like. That's the mid-mark of the pendulum. And the pendulum's been way far back in darkness and thing for this lifetime and many lifetimes. So now it's like humanity's pendulum finally needs to pull, and this is where we talk even prophecies about 1,000 years of peace and prosperity and the golden age, and, you know, and the resurrection, all these amazing times that are ahead of us because we've been in so much darkness. Yes. So nothing but good can happen, you know, from what we've been into where we're not. So the pendulum swinging both ways. It's just balance. Okay. It's just balance. That's it. It's the law of rhythm is balance. It's the pendulum. If the pendulum goes this way, it's got to go that way. Right? It's the natural ebb and flow of the universe. It's like karma. People like karma think it's just bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No, karma's good stuff that comes to you. If you perceive it as bad, then that's you.
Yeah.
You perceive the world as bad. Say, oh yeah, I got karma coming my way. Well, I think a good karma coming my way. That's how I perceive it. Right?
That's good.
And all karma is it's balancing.
Okay, cool. Creating an equilibrium.
It's just balance, yeah. Whatever you do comes back to you. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, it's a balancing act.
Yes.
There's no such thing as good or bad or whatever. It's just balancing. It's very simple.
For now. But moving on to another question that I also had is, I noticed that I read somewhere that your mantra is that you should learn, and then from there you should be able to earn, and then so you could eventually return, right? Why did that resonate so much, and where did you first hear that?
Because it rhymes.
Okay. All right, simple enough.
It rhymes. What the heck? Nah. Actually, I heard it from one of my mentors, and he said, first you learn,
Mm-hmm.
then you earn, then you return.
Mm.
But the problem is, a lot of people, especially spiritual people, they
Mm-hmm.
want to return, then they want to earn, right? And forget about the learn. Because think about it. It's like, if you want to save the world, if you want to do a nonprofit, do a profit company first. A profit with a purpose. Or a profit company with a nonprofit arm. Statistically, profit companies with nonprofit arms do better.
Okay.
So it's like, create money, create abundance, create wealth. Learn how to manifest abundance. Learn how to manifest wealth. Learn how to run a company, right? Make money, take that money, and put it into your nonprofit. Because people try to learn business by creating a nonprofit. It's not the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a billionaire guy who told me this, Naveen Jain, said the same thing. He goes, make the money. And he goes and make a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, if you really want to do the nonprofit, then put all the money in the nonprofit. Do it that way, because people, you have to look at it as a company, it's an organization.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A company is an organization, and you are an organism. Right?
Yes.
In order for you to be alive, right, in your organism, you need to have blood flow. If you didn't have blood flow, you wouldn't be alive. Think of your organization, it needs cash flow.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have cash flow,
It can't be alive.
the entity dies.
Yeah.
See, entities are actually real living beings. People don't realize that, but when you start a company,
Mm-hmm.
aspect of your soul, an aspect of your partner's soul, or if you just do it for yourself, energizes that company from the spirit world. So each company, that they actually call companies entities.
Yeah. And I mean, even with the government, they basically get their own social security number, the IENs, right?
Exactly, it's its own. It is a living entity. Spiritually speaking, it is a piece of your soul that goes and starts that company. Right. So you need to give it the blood flow, which is cash flow,
Yeah.
and that entity, it's an organism, it's an organization. Right. So, first you learn. Know how to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
Invest in yourself, right? Personal development. Because when you work on yourself and you realize that you're the business, and you
Yes.
realize that you are the entity, right? And when you work on your mind, body, soul, your life will take care of itself. Right?
Definitely.
Your business will thrive when you take care of yourself, your mind, body, soul. And you have to realize that you're the only problem that you'll ever have. Yet you're the only solution that you'll ever need.
Oh, I like that.